Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Mandy. In the last video, we talked about the rice radical. So rice is type of a food, right? But in today's video, let's get to a broader sense. In today's video, we're going to talk about the food radical.
Okay, so now let's get the 田字格s ready and the pens ready. First of all, let's take a look at the 时 character. And it could be a verb, means eat. Also, it could be a noun, means food. And here is the evolution of this character, 时. To turn the 时 into a radical, we have to squeeze it, make it small. This is the food radical, but in traditional Chinese. And now let's turn it into the food radical in the simplified Chinese. Yeah, this is the food radical in simplified Chinese. So now you can see the process from here to here to here. Before we dive into example with the food radical, here's another characters I would like to introduce to you. And it's kind of complicated. Okay, this is top left, top right. Very good. 餐, so 餐 have a 时 character at the bottom, and 餐 it could mean just food. For example, we can say 中餐, Zhong stand for China, and here is Chinese. 餐 is food. 中餐. And we can also say 西餐. Xi is for the west, and here is western. 餐 food. 西餐 is western food. Let's be more specific. Let's say French food. So we can say 法餐. Fa stand for 法国, so it's French. 餐 food. So with this logic, you can list out many other food, but wait a second. I think we have another logic to say the food and cuisines, and that is to say the 菜. 菜 could mean cuisine. For example, we can say 中国菜. 中国菜. So 中国 stand for China. Cai is the cuisine. Simply put that, 中餐和中国菜, they're basically the same thing. They all refers to Chinese food. But for the 中国菜, we're keeping the 国 here. Normally we don't say 中菜. we say 中国菜, same as other cuisines like 法国菜. Okay, 法国菜. 法国 means France. 菜 is cuisine. So normally we say 法国菜 instead of 法菜. And another word come with the 餐 over here. We can say 餐厅, 餐厅. 餐 is food. 厅 is hall. And together it makes restaurant. 餐厅. But wait a second. Maybe some of you have learned that we can also say 饭店, 饭店. 饭 is the meal, 店 is the shop. 饭店 together is also restaurant. Okay, so both of them, 餐厅, 饭店, they all means restaurant. But is there any difference between them? From my life experience, I feel like 餐厅和饭店 is basically the same thing. But just in some cases, 饭店 could also refers to hotel. Okay, just in some cases. And 餐厅 only refers to the restaurant. Okay, so now let's get to the food radical. The first category. The food radical, of course, is related to food. Let's get to the example. The first one. 饭. 饭 meaning meal. And you can see on the left side, we already have a food radical. And let's take a look at the right side. This is 饭. It serves as a sound radical. It gives the 饭 sound to the 饭. Okay? And let's get to some word. The 饭, it's a very, very common word that we use in Chinese. The first one, we can say 吃饭. 吃饭. 吃 is to eat. 饭 is to the meal. 吃饭, to eat meal, to have the meal. And something interesting about the 吃饭, you can see 吃, we have a mouth radical. As for the 饭, you can see we have a food radical. So it's so specific. You use your mouth to eat the food. Very specific. Speaking of the meal, we have 3 meals per day. So the breakfast is 早饭. 早饭. Zao is morning. As we're learning from the 早上好, Zao's morning. Fan is meal. So 早饭 is morning meal. Make breakfast. Okay. And the interesting part about 早, you can see we have a sun radical here. And we just talked about the sun radical many videos ago. So if you haven't watched that, or if you want to review it, check that video. Okay, 早饭. And as for the lunch is 午饭. 午 meaning noon. 饭 meal. Noon meal is the lunch. Very good. And as for the dinner, let's put it here. 晚饭. 晚 is evening. 饭 is meal. So evening meal make dinner. And again, in the 晚, we have a sun radical too. But wait, there's no sun in the evening, right? That's right. That's why the right part of the evening, it means don't have. So don't have sun, that would make evening. We just talked about that in the sun radical videos. Okay, so that's the meal, and we can have the meal in the restaurant, like we just mentioned about it a few minutes ago. The restaurants could be 饭店. 饭店. 饭 is meal. 店 is shop. The meal shop. Restaurant. Just extend it a little bit for the 店. This radical is building related. And we will talk about the building related radical in the future. Moving on to the next characters come with the food radical. And that is 饼. 饼, it could mean cookies or biscuit. For example, we say 饼 干 干 meaning dry, but all together 饼干 it just means cookies and biscuit, because they are usually dry, right? And the next one is 煎 饼 煎饼. The 煎 it means to pan fry. 饼 cookies. And actually 煎饼 would be just pancake. Okay, now let's take a look at the 煎 characters. we just mentioned it before. And the 煎, we have 4 dots. And this is the fire radical we just mentioned before. The fire radical is related to fired stuff. For example, the materials that could burn, and the heat, and cooking method, etc. So back to the 煎饼. Here the 饼 is cookie, but translate into English is pancake. So I want to talk a little bit more about the cake in Chinese. Because we just talked about the cake in the last video, we talked about dan, gao, dan gao. The dan means egg, the gao means cake. So in the Chinese concept, the gao is the cake that's more puffy. Okay? And as for the being, in Chinese, it could also mean the cake. But it's the cake that's more solid and condensed. Okay, so let me show you some examples. Now you can see the difference. Now let's get to some more specific food. The first one is jiao. Jiao, usually we say 饺子. 饺子 is the dumpling. For example, one of the most popular type of dumplings in China is zhu肉 饺子 猪肉, as we learned it before. This is the animal radical, right? We just talked about it a few videos ago. And the 猪 is pig, 肉 is meat. 猪肉 together, it will make the pork. 饺子 dumplings. So 猪肉饺子. And the next food man, and usually we say 馒头. Mantou is just the bun, the very traditional Chinese bun with no stuffing. The stuffing inside. And if you want the stuffing, and let's get to the stuffing. Xian. And the xian, in the northern accent, they will say xier. And that is the stuffing. Let me give you some example. You can say 馅 with or without the 饼. stuffing. The northern accent. Bing is the cake, cookies. But yeah, here it refers to the cake. So northern accent 馅儿饼 and southern accent 馅饼. It looks like this. It could have beef stuffing, pork stuffing, or vegetable stuffing. For example, let's be more specific. Let's say the beef stuffing cake, beef filling cake. Then we can say 牛肉馅饼. So 牛肉 is the beef, 馅 is the stuffing, 饼 is the cake. Now let's move on to the next category, the category 2. The food radical can also relate it to the feeling or the behavior or just something that's related to food. The first example, is hungry. Yeah, you're feeling, this is the feeling for food, right? Hungry. For example, you can say 我很饿. I very hungry. 我很饿. I'm hungry. Actually, we have another word also means hungry, and that would be 鸡. 鸡 is also hungry, but it sounds more formal, and you can say 饥饿. So hungry. It's a very formal word for hungry, or it could also mean just hunger. For example, the hunger problem in the world. Hunger problem. That is 饥饿. One. T. 问题 is the questions and also the problem. So 饥饿问题, the hunger problem. Before I move on to the next one, probably a lot of you have noticed the right part of the is 我 for the I, right? See? That's right. Actually, the 我 right here is served as a sound radical to the but I would like to provide you my personal understanding of the My understanding of it is that I feel for the food. I feel for the food that is hungry. Okay, I hope it helped you to memorize the word. And the next example would be the opposite of the
饱 饱 full. It's not something's food, it's just food in your stomach. Okay? So you can also say 我很饱我很饱 I very full 我很饱 And the interesting thing about the 饱 is the right side of it. This is the 包 and you can see 包 serve as a sound radical here. And as for the 包 itself, it could mean bun and bread. So if you bring the meaning to the 包, I think it kind of also makes sense because you eat a lot of bread and bun, it could make you full. Let's continue with the feeling. The next example. 馋 馋 It's a very specific word, a very specific feeling. It's the feeling that you feel craving for food. Craving for food or greedy for food. You can say 他很馋巧克力 So that would be he very crave for 巧克力 chocolate. Very good. Or let me give you another example. 闻到烧烤的味道comma 它馋的流口水 Very good. Let's see. 闻到 is to smell. So to smell. 烧烤 is barbecue. The 味道 could be the smell or the flavor. Okay, so smell the barbecue flavor and to smell the barbecue 他
he, 馋 chan's crave for. The is a grammar particle. It's the marker of complement. So what's following the explained what's before the, right? Well, we'll talk about that later. But first of all, let's continue here. 流 is to flow. 口水 is mouth. 水 is water. What? 口水 mouth, water. Flow, mouth, water. Yeah, that's drilling. So all together, smell the barbecue. He craved for the food, and he so craved for it, and he was drilling. And well, let's extend it a little bit, talk about the is supposed to be the grammar things, but well, we're learning the sentence right here, so why not talk a little bit about grammar? Just simply put that, we can say a verb or an adjective, and then the and then the complement, right? And the complement, it provides more details for the verb or the adjective. First of all, let me give you a sentence with the verb the complement. It could be 他吃的很饱，他吃的很饱。Well, 他 he 吃 eat the. Now we have the grammar particle. 很 very 饱 full. Okay, so in this sentence, we know that he eat 他吃, but if you only say 他吃, you would never know is he eat a lot or eat very few or is he full or not full. So now we need more details. Now followed by the, he said 很饱. So 很饱 here, it explained it. So it gives the details more to the eat. So now he eat, and he eats very full. 他吃得很饱. And the next example, 这里漂亮的像一幅画。这里 here 漂亮 beautiful. The, we have it, the grammar particle. 像 like, seems like. 一幅 is the measure word for painting. 一幅画 a painting. Okay, so let's see. 漂亮 is the adjective. We know, wow, it's beautiful. But how beautiful is that? So now we have the details. Like a painting. it provides the details for it. It's so beautiful that it seems like a painting. So that's a very simple and straightforward explanation for the compliment, but actually there's many different type of the compliment. For example, some compliment explain the status, some explain the possibilities, some explain the result. So that's why we have so many different type of compliment, and you will learn that in the grammar lessons. But my videos is focused on the hanzi, so let's continue with the hanzi. Moving on to the next character with the food radical. This one's pretty simple. Yin. Yin means to drink. It could be a verb. We can say yin liao. Yin is to drink. Liao could be material. And also you can see in the liao on the left side, we have a rice radical here. The rice radical is also related to food. We just talked about it in the last video, so check that out. 饮料, the drink material, it make beverage. Easy. And actually we have another word also means beverage, and that would be yin pin. See, it's a very cute word. It just have 3 mouth radical and form a triangle. Yin is the drink. Pin could be the product. So drinking product also make beverage. Next example, we can also say 饮用水. Yin is to drink. 用 is the use. 水 is the water. So 饮用水, drink, use water, make drinkable water. Okay, and the next characters with the food radical. Kui. Kui. It could mean to give. And let's take a look at it. The right side of it. Some of you might notice it. This is the 贵, and which means expensive. 太贵了, 太贵了, too expensive, right? Okay, so the 贵 here obviously it serves as a sound radical to it, and actually the meaning is kind of related to the 贵, because in the ancient time, the 贵, it means to send the food to the guest, and usually the guest are someone important, so they could send food to each other to show the good gesture to each other, to build a relationship with each other. So let's get to some word. 贵 馈赠. The 馈 is give, and 赠 could also mean give, and 馈赠 together, it could mean gift. Speaking of the 赠, the right part of it, this one, this is a shell radical. We haven't talked about it yet, but we will talk about it in the future. The shell radical usually it's related to money or something expensive. You know, if you're going to send a gift to someone, that someone might be important, and you might send an expensive gift, right? You would not just give a random thing. So the whole word 馈赠, it also explained the adequate in the ancient time, and that adequate also works in the modern times. But wait a minute, I know the other word for the gift, and that word is 礼物. 礼物. It also means gift. So what's the difference between 馈赠和礼物? Okay, so 馈赠 is a very formal word, and 礼物 it just means the gift in general. So in everyday life, if you are going to give a gift to your friends or to your family, usually we just say the gift, 礼物. And as for 馈赠, it's much more formal. To be honest, in everyday life, we don't say 馈赠 that much, but once you see it, the 馈赠, you know it's something very formal and important. Let's get to some more practical words with the 馈. We can say 反. 馈. 反 is back. 馈 is give. Back, give back some information, and that is feedback. Yeah, it makes sense, right? 反馈. And you might notice the 反, back to maybe 10 minutes ago, we just talked about the 饭, which means meal, and the right part of the 饭 is the 反, and the 反 serves as a sound radical to the 饭, right? And now we are using the 反 by itself. Okay, now moving on to the next example with the food radical. 是. 是 itself, it means decorate. Decorate. Why the decorate have something to do with the food? Let's take a good look at the 是. On the left, we have a food radical. Okay, and the bottom right corner, we have this. This is the 巾, and it means towel. Okay, why food and towel have something to do with decorate? Okay, so back in the ancient time, there's a lot of praying activities. People serve food and they decorate the food to make it pretty for the praying. And on the table, there's a lot of towel also to make it pretty. Because during the praying ceremony, everything has to be pretty. And that's how people show respect to the God. Okay, so now let's get to some word about the 是. 装 饰，装饰。装, you can see the bottom part of it. It's the clothes, right? And the 装 itself, it also could mean clothes. And the 饰 is to decorate. Okay, so altogether, 装饰 altogether, 装饰 it could mean the verb to decorate, and also it could be the noun decoration. Let's be more specific. Let's say Christmas decoration. 圣诞装饰，圣诞 is the Christmas. 装饰 is the decoration. 的拼音，圣诞装饰 Christmas decoration. Let me offer you another word with the 饰. We can also say 饰 ha, the 品 again. 饰品 we just talk about it. Here 品 means product. So decorate product, and together it makes accessories. It refers to the accessories to make you pretty. For example, like hairband, bracelets, necklace, earrings. These are the accessories to make you pretty. Not the digital accessories like phone case or a tripod. No, that's different things. Continue with the next example. 馆 馆 usually it refers to a place or a building. Okay, so let's take a look at the 馆 at the right side. This is the 关. Obviously, it gives the sound to it. It could serve as a sound radical. And also, the 关, it could mean itself, it means government official. Actually, the meaning of 关is related to the 馆. In the ancient time, 馆 is the place where it could offer the food and accommodation for the government official. Okay, so the 馆, it has something to do with food or accommodation. And this meaning still preserved in the modern Chinese. Let me give you some example. 饭 馆 饭 is the meal. 馆 is, yeah, let's say it's a building. So 饭馆 it could also mean restaurant. Yeah, I know we have several words for restaurant. And as for the accommodation, we can say
旅馆旅馆旅 means travel. 馆 is the building. So 旅馆 it could be a hotel. And more than that, we can also have宾馆. Bin is the guest. Guan is the building. So 宾馆 it could also make it hotel. But wait a second. I know another word for hotel, and it doesn't have the guan in it. The word for hotel is 酒店. Jiu Dian. 酒店, it's also the hotel. So, what? You have 旅馆, 宾馆, and 酒店. They're all hotel? Yeah, it is. But they could be slightly different. Usually, 旅馆 refers to a smaller hotel. It's kind of like a motel. And 宾馆 is also small. And as for 酒店, usually refers to the big hotel or the hotel that's more pretty or luxurious. In modern Chinese, the 馆 can refers to a lot more type of building, not just the building that can offer you food and accommodation. Okay, and now let me give you some other example for the 馆. The first one is bo wu. Guan. Bo, it could mean broad. Wu is the things. Guan is the building. And that would make museum. Very good. And next example. Tu shu guan. Tu picture. Shu book. Guan building. Picture book. 图书, it just means book. The book building, it would make library. Moving on to the last characters of this video. Actually, the last example I would like to show you, it's not that commonly used. To be honest, it's pretty advanced and kind of a technical terms, but I think it's very interesting to talk about it. So now let's get started. We have the food radical and this is 食. This is something interesting. Let's take a good look at it. On the left side, it's the food radical. And the right side of it, we just talked about it a few videos ago. This is the insect radical. So if you put the food and insect together, what would the insects do?
Yeah, it will. 食 it will eat up, or we say erode. Let me give you some example. 侵蚀 侵 is to invade. Oh, that's not good. 蚀 is to erode. Yeah, so that's just erode. Let me give you a sentence. 这个石头被海水侵蚀了。Okay, let's see. 这个 this one 石头 stone. We just talk about the stone in the stone radical videos. And 被 is the passive marker. Okay. 海水 海 sea 水 water 海水 sea water, and 侵蚀 erode 了 is the ed. Okay, so now it's pretty clear. This stone was eroded by the water, like this in the picture. And last but not least, here is the very technical term I would like to introduce to you. 月 时 Okay, 月 we know that this is the moon, and 时 erode. So the moon was eaten by who? It's the lunar eclipse. Instead of using the 时 also, you can also say the other 时月时 moon eat. So the moon was be eaten. So this also means lunar eclipse. 月食 and 月食. So same logic we can have. So 日 is the sun. 时 road. 日食 solar eclipse. Right? So actually it's a pretty advanced word, but to write it and explain it in Chinese, it's pretty simple. That's all for today's video. I hope you enjoy it and you learned something about the food radical. If you want the practice sheet, you can download it from my website over here. And if you have any thoughts or idea, feel free to share it in the comment section. I'm Mandy. I'll see you in the next video.